Hi, I'm Patel, the Principal Product Manager here at Lucidworks, and I'm here to talk about Fusion 5, which is our latest and greatest version of Fusion, and really talk about what new solution it enables for our customers and really the value prop of it, the changeover from previous versions and how it reduces time to value for our customers. There are really three pillars to Fusion 5 and why we really transformed this platform. And the goals in particular are reducing time to value, the ability to access new solutions, and the ability to maximize the data science investment that our customers make. I'm going to go into each one of these in a little bit more detail. In terms of reducing time to value, one of the things we really wanted to do with Fusion 5 was make it so that the upgrade experience is seamless with zero downtime. Historically speaking, older versions of Fusion require migrations to reap the benefits of the new feature set. Here in this new platform, what you'll see is that it is an upgrade versus a migration, zero downtime, completely seamless to most customers, which reduces risks of outages during peak traffic, as well as really removing operational overhead, because now this new platform can run as a managed service. So there's a lot of benefits that we want to bring to the table that include decreased DevOps investment for our customers, but also simplification of the management experience itself, even if you're managing it on your behalf. We think our platform is the best for really maximizing your data science investment. What we're really trying to do is a combination of two things. We can either allow you to let your data scientists plug in their own models, which with our new data science toolkit, which we introduced in Fusion 5, is easy to really provide. Or you can extract insights using our most common data science workflows. These are prepackaged models that we're bringing to the table that are delivered based on our understanding of best practices of our industries that we support. So you can use these pre-built models for sentiment analysis and semantic search pretty much out of the box. And last but not least, we want to be able to access the latest innovation. We want to enable you to access the latest innovation. We have a lot more visual interfaces now that really allow more business users to leverage Fusion's power. So things like the Predictive Merchandiser, where you can really maximize merchandiser productivity in the e-commerce space with a visual interface for managing rules. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. You can automate ticket resolution for customer and employee self-service support channels. That is our Smart Answers product, which I'll talk a little bit more about as well. And you can innovate faster with an architecture built for modern IT best practices. And what that means is you can upgrade individualized services without having to upgrade an entire platform. So really quickly being able to leverage new features and services as they are released on top of the Fusion platform. So some of the goals that we talked about for Fusion 5, deliver this best-in-class user experience. And that is really from the DevOps perspective. There's a transformation from the earlier versions in Fusion to this one where we have a containerized solution with each service being able to scale automatically on its own independently. So you never have to worry about going in and adjusting services and adjusting scalability. It is happening for you. We talked about maximizing data science. We understand that no one really wants to only take out of the box solutions that can be provided by black box providers. For one, we're not really necessarily black box. We work with you to improve on models that we will build that are out of the box. But secondarily, we understand that you're already investing in your own solutions. You have an internal team, and we provide you a framework to be able to A/B test your own models against your own models against our models against iterations of our own models. So really being able to understand what is going to work best for your solutions, driving the KPIs you care the most about. Just wanted to show this as a demonstration of what has occurred over the last few years in terms of the progression of Fusion. The platform has really changed a lot. There's been a lot of new features that have been introduced, but really the takeaway that I want you to have is from 3 to 4 was a major migration, and it was a big step for most of our customers to be able to move from one to the other. Similarly, 4 to 5 seems like a big step as well and may require a migration. What I want all of our customers to understand is that 4 to 5 step, we are here to help you move from one to the next. We can really hold your hand all along that way and make sure it's a smooth experience for you. But then you really reap the benefits of Fusion 5 because everything thereafter is a straightforward upgrade versus a migration. You can be upgrading individualized services. You can be leveraging new features out of the box. You don't have to worry about breaking functions from 5 to 5.1 to 5.2. All of this stuff will work seamlessly forward and backwards once you move to 5. Now I just want to talk a little bit about how we approach the future of Fusion. We really have been thinking about how our customers use Fusion, what applications they build on top of it, and what value they extract from it. And we think of that in terms of sophistication and app maturity. Most of our customers are building individualized apps on top of Fusion. And what we're trying to do is build you out of the box application solutions on top of Fusion as well, so you can leverage these things without having to custom build your own, leveraging our expertise around Fusion, but also our expertise across various domains, across our hundreds of customers. So if you look at sort of that stage 0, it's a simple process of pushing data in and getting data out. It's the most basic customer use case of, I have potentially a website that I want to crawl, and then I want to make it searchable. So that's really that simple application that just enables someone to search either your intranet or your external facing site. To really start getting the benefits of Fusion, though, is when you start bringing multiple sources together. We think of that as that stage 1 source, where it's lots of different applications, lots of different websites, lots of different internal sources and documents or knowledge bases that you're integrating into one single searchable index, and then providing an interface where customers can retrieve results for that. And that is certainly a layer of value, but I think what it really becomes valuable is when you start talking about relevancy, when you start posting signals back to Fusion, and we start building models on top of it, and we use our machine learning and our artificial intelligence to really improve on relevancy for these results. So users don't have to be searching willy-nilly. We can anticipate what they're looking for. And really that next phase, which is what we really want to bring our customers to, is that phase of intelligence, that stage 3, where we can actually anticipate the next best action for a user. And what does that mean? It means that within your organization, you have multiple roles. Each of these roles has their own functions. And what we want to do is bring intelligence to those functions so that they can make decisions better. So understanding the data that you bring to bear, understanding the role of the individual, and combining that to say, well, how can I help this individual with resolution of their problems? And I'll give you examples of that in just a minute. We start with really talking about relevancy, some of the products we're bringing to bear, these solutions that are more out of the box. The first is our predictive merchandiser, which we introduced this year. That's a good example of an e-commerce solution where a merchandiser has a visual interface where they can do things like pin, boost, bury, or block products with a visual rules editor. Manage facets for controlling display in any context. So when you're searching on products, you can decide what level of faceting do I need to return for any given subset of products, whether it's apparel or electronics or what have you. So it really allows a person who is a business user who knows what KPIs they're trying to drive to visually be able to control that experience. Next one I want to talk about in terms of relevancy is the Salesforce Agent Insights tool. We're about to launch this in the September timeframe, and this is a plugin into Salesforce. So if you are a customer of ours who is actively using Salesforce for their customer care, then you can just pretty much turn this on. You go to the Salesforce app marketplace, turn this on, and have additional value out of Fusion where your customer care reps have the ability to have more information to help them quickly resolve cases. You can find other cases opened by this customer to understand whether there are multiple cases opened, to understand what's already been closed for them, potentially a new one has been opened that someone didn't realize this has already been closed and resolved. You could provide knowledge-based articles to help the customer care rep quickly find the solution so they can actually resolve it instantaneously. Or if they have to have additional information, they can be directed to the subject matter expert within the organization that can aid in that resolution. So like I mentioned earlier, this is really helping in terms of workflow and providing knowledge at the right point in time that would be very difficult to aggregate otherwise. Taking it a little step higher, it's that intelligence that we were speaking of. Our Smart Answer solution, which we have introduced this year, is an advanced deep learning add-on for chatbots and virtual assistants. What does that allow us to do? It allows us to provide you a way to have your customers, and whether that customer is an end consumer or it's an internal employee, allow them to post queries with more of a human natural speaking method and find the most relevant answers. And this is a automated self-learning workflow that you would feed your initial data set into, and over time it learns more and more about relevancy of results and always tries to find the best solution to the question that you're trying to pose. And so multiple places that this can occur, like I mentioned, an external customer care support portal, an internal employee portal, or potentially even plug it into a telephone system, automated system, where someone can open-ended questions and you can be routed the right place. So there's a lot of intelligence here where it's driving the next best action. And similarly and appropriately named, we have a customer who has implemented a service that they actually call the next best action. And at Activate, you can probably hear more about this at one of the sessions. This particular customer happens to be in finance, and they have a whole set of financial analysts who use a service that is very similar to Smart Answers, but it's more tailored to their particular workflow, where it allows them to understand for their customers in wealth management, what should be the next best action for that customer? What should I call them up and tell them they should do next? Instead of spending 45 minutes an hour to come up with this personalized investment idea, as they say, now you have something that says, here's the customer I want to talk to. What should I tell them? Gives you a reason to call them and gives you a reason to interact with them. So it's all about engaging with this customer and engaging with more customers. So even if it's not so much about moving allocations of investments, it is about maintaining this relationship with this customer that can be all about just communication. Moving on to a little bit more of our roadmap. I wanted to talk about our 5.2 release, which just occurred last week, and then the 5.3 release that is upcoming this fall. And I'm really wanted to talk about it more around themes than I did around details, because then it'll give you a better understanding of how Fusion is going to evolve over the course of the next year. So we are committed to continuing to support new AI features. And you'll see this continuing for over the next, well, probably until Fusion is sunset 20 years from now. But some of the newer features, our goal in releasing this is providing more ways to provide value out of the box. We understand that our customers can't always provide the same level of signals back to us. So whether it's clicks or if it's add to carts, whether it's purchases, whether it's even the user ID across different interfaces, we understand that we may not always get the same level of information. So what we wanted to do is start building more recommenders that allow you to personalize an experience or tailor an experience to certain KPIs, whether or not you can provide us that level of signal. So that's what these new features are. And these, within the next 2 releases, should be more of a push button turn on versus a implementation that requires you calling us and engaging with the professional services. Similarly, this predictive merchandiser templating zones that we're releasing in 5.2, it's a very similar type of goal where we're looking for out-of-the-box value very quickly. This particular templating zones concept allows you to paint an entire screen versus having a single use case driven by a single query. So with this new functionality, think about your entire user experience more holistically, and think about what each area of the user experience should drive in terms of KPIs. In the back end, our admin interface for Predictive Merchandiser, you can specify a model and rules associated with each of these zones. And really, if you work it back, it's all about what KPIs do you want to drive with each of these zones. And so as we move more and more for out-of-the-box turnkey experiences that we can drive, this is going to be more and more of a push-button type of service for each of these zones. And moving to Fusion 5.3, there's this continued focus on quick starts and easy adoption. We are introducing 2 things that will help with this repeatability. We are providing a standardized intuitive query language that can build reusable use cases. We don't need our customers to know how to complex syntax. That's what we really want to avoid. We want to make that more standardized in terms of how you post queries to Fusion and understandable in terms of how you can extract that value. We're also introducing opinionated data schemas to fit different industries into standardized buckets. So you don't have to try to map your data to how our models work or how our rules work and how our features work. This will work out of the box with default mapping exercises for our standardized connectors. So that connector could be Slack, it could be SharePoint, it could be Salesforce, it could be an e-commerce database. We understand these different industries very well, and so we will post your data in with very specific schemas in mind that can be mapped to the models that we can power out of the box. The other focus is on performance. Performance means a lot of things to a lot of people. What we really mean by it is we want to understand how is your overall system performing holistically. And that is a combination of things. It's a combination of how am I functioning in terms of queries per second, latency, data ingestion, and that sort of thing that revolves around system dashboards. So we want to introduce more dashboards where you can have this transparency in terms of that level of performance. And as I mentioned earlier, we have auto scaling across these services, so you can actually see when do we auto scale these services up based on different levels of queries per second, different levels of model building, et cetera. But what I think is even more exciting is our actionable customer analytics that we're building on top of this. So what you'll see more and more is our ability to help you drive your KPIs. So these analytics are not simply, here's the dashboards of how signals are performing, how queries are performing. It's what should I do next to optimize this performance of this use case with that use case. And so that's what you should be looking for in 5.3 and beyond. So looking into 2021, expect actionable analytics to be really something that is front and center for the Fusion product. And I thank you for your time today.